What's up, Tan and J-Man Show Nation? This is Tanner Lee, one half of the Tan and J-Man Show. And on behalf of myself and my co-host, Josh the J-Man Munt, we want to thank you for listening to our podcast. While you're at it, on whatever platform you're listening on, please hit that subscribe button. And if it happens to be on Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating and review. That really helps us out. If you're interested in watching our show is recorded live every Monday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch that on the ISC Sports Network, on the free ISC Sports Network app, on the ISC Sports Network Facebook page, and their Twitter page. While you're at it, on those social media channels, please give us a like on our Facebook page. Please give us a follow on our Twitter and Instagram page at Tan and J-Man Show. And if you want to support our podcast and look great doing so, we have a merchandise store. You can go to any of our social media pages, click the link, click Tan and J-Man Show store, and you'll find whatever you're looking for. Short sleeve t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, coffee mugs, you name it, we got it. So thanks again for supporting the podcast. Now sit back, relax, and here comes another exciting brand new episode of the Tan and J-Man Show. Hey, it's Monday night. You know what that means. Another brand new episode of the Tan and J-Man Show, episode 254 to be exact.
254 straight weeks.
I'm Tanner Lee. To my right's my co-host, Josh the J-Man Munt.
J-Man.
What's up, J-Man?
What's going on there, T-Dog?
I had a good sports weekend.
Yeah, it's been pretty good for you here so far in September.
An ugly win and a relaxing win against two cruddy teams, but I'll take them. Mm-hmm. But the injuries just keep piling up for both my teams, as I'll talk about in length later.
The Tan the Man curse is very real.
It scares me for college basketball season. I am terrified as college basketball practice starts tomorrow.
Haven't had a significant college basketball injury in a while, have you?
You can stop that.
Robbie Hummel, was he the last one?
Isaac Haas in the tournament breaking his elbow.
Yeah, that didn't help because that team was good enough to probably, they might have gotten Texas Tech.
Yeah, and then, all he wants a chance. With your squad healthy. Absolutely. Yeah, he used to draw a lot of attention being 7-2 or 7-3 and could foul people out. So that one did hurt. So
got some birdie bogey for you tonight.
Do you actually have something like related to topics we're going to be talking about?
NFL.
Yes.
So last Sunday, Lamar Jackson played in his started his 40th career game in the NFL. Mm-hmm. He won 31 of his first 40 career starts in his career, which is tied for second most all time. 3 guys have more than him, but they're all tied with 32. Can you name those 3 guys? 2 for a par, all 3 for a birdie.
I think I got 1, but I'm going to think on the other 2.
Birdie Bogey is brought to you by Noble Gnome LLC. Fresh, locally grown, nutrient-dense produce from Bryce and Katie Romine of Mentone, Indiana. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and check out their website, noblegnomellc.com. Get your veggies.
That was short and quick.
That's what I do. Baseball hitting its final week of the season. Hard to believe it's gone this quick.
Even for a Cub fan to say that.
Even for a Cub fan. I've had more enjoyment watching them the past 2 months than I have the previous 4 years.
I don't know about that. I don't believe you.
Low stress. The least stressed I've been.
All right,
let's say that.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, final week of the year. Teams are wrapping up the divisions. Wild card races are still really, really hot right now. We have 3 teams have clinched divisions so far. The Milwaukee Brewers have clinched the National League Central. Chicago White Sox in that terrible AL Central have clinched that one. And the Tampa Bay Rays have 97 wins and have clinched the American League East. The NL East is still wide open. The NL West is still wide open. The AL West will be clinched here shortly. The Houston Astros have a 5-game lead in the West, so that'll be clinched. However, the wild cards, especially in the American League, hot right now. New York Yankees, after that terrible stretch where we thought, okay, they might be done, go on an absolute roll.
Fun series over the weekend.
And now find themselves in that first wild card spot. A game up on Boston. They're 2 games up on Toronto. Toronto's 1 game behind Boston. The Seattle Mariners are only 2 games out.
Not happening, though, for them.
I don't think it's happening either.
And heartbreak.
However, Yankees and Blue Jays play.
Yes, they do.
Yankees and I believe Red Sox play
again
at the end of the year,
end of the week,
and end of the season.
Yes.
But that race is hot. I saw something today, and I don't know if I'll be able to find it. I should have favorited it so I could say it. However, we could see some major chaos happen this week. I'm going to try to find it right now. I think I know who retweeted it. Let's see here. Maybe it wasn't this guy. Let's see I think it was Jeff Passan who tweeted it. So I'm going to go on his. Jeff Passan.
Oh, okay.
Passan. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Could see some major. So if the Blue Jays take 2 of 3 from the Yankees and sweep the Orioles this upcoming weekend, the Yankees take 2 of 3 from the Rays, and the Red Sox win 4 of 6 against Baltimore. So the Yankees and Red Sox do not play. Take that back. And the Red Sox win 4 of 6 games against Baltimore and Washington. There will be a 3-way tie for 2 wildcard spots. Here is how it would work. In the case of a 3-way tie for 2 spots, the tiebreakers go like this. Club A hosts Club B in the first game, and the winner gets the first AL wildcard spot. The loser then travels to Club C for the second game, and the winner gets the second AL wildcard spot. Because they won their season series against both teams, the Red Sox get first tiebreaker pick. Toronto beat New York, so it would choose second. Presumably, Boston would be Club A, which gets a home game and 2 cracks at winning. What would Toronto do with the second pick? On one hand, you'd rather have 2 bites at the apple. This is way too long, and I've already kind of lost interest, to be honest, in this scenario. But I hope it happens. In this entire scenario, there's also one more possibility. The Mariners sweep the A's and the Angels, finish 97-70. 2, giving us a 4-way tie and 2 head-to-head matchups. Not quite as chaotic, but still pretty great. Unfortunately, a 5-way tie will not happen.
You lost me at club.
I lost myself. But I'm always rooting for chaos in these situations. Chaos is great for me unless it happens to my team, then it's not great at all. So I think a 3-way tie for that final wildcard spot in the American League would do baseball some good. Now, in the National League, the Cardinals have won 16 straight games.
16 straight.
16 straight games.
They are on fire. They are in fuego.
They are en fuego. Their magic number for a playoff spot is 1. They have they're 6 games up on both Philadelphia, and I think they're 5.5 up on Cincinnati now. Cincinnati won today.
Cincinnati.
But Cardinals are going to get that last playoff spot unless something goes terribly wrong for them and the other 2 teams don't lose. That's essentially the only way it can happen. St. Louis has to lose out, and Cincinnati has to win out in order for them to get in. Philadelphia still has a shot at the NL East. They're 2.5 games back, though. But anything can happen this week. I'm going to see if Atlanta and Philadelphia play each other. They have 3 games starting here on Tuesday, so if the Phillies sweep that, they will be a half game up on Atlanta. So that race is really heating up. However, I think the Braves will ultimately win that one. It's in Atlanta, I believe. And you look at the AL West or NL West, San Francisco Giants are 102-54. Dodgers are 156. So we will have a wild card team that has won over 100 games. There will be a wild card team that right now, if everything holds true to what the standings look like, the Dodgers will be in a wild card game, even though they will have finished the season 16.5 games up on Atlanta, who won their division. It almost feels like they need to reseed it at that point.
Yeah.
Because, it's not fair to a team that won over 100 games have to play in a 1-game crapshoot of a playoff game. But I think this will actually, this will be the J-Man's book of prediction of the
earliest
week.
book we've had in months.
Get it out of the way. I think the final 2 wild card teams in the American League will be the Boston Red Sox and the Toronto Blue Jays.
I don't like you.
You know what? I'm helping you out by booking it. Let's be honest. J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watching for life, home, auto, renters, business, workers' comp, and farm insurance. Contact Travis at 219-869-4561. Travis.watching@infb.com.
You don't have to fly through that read, especially since you're doing it 8 minutes into the show. It's like we have 30 seconds left.
I'm so used to it being at the end of the show that I flew through it. But get your insurance from Travis, who's also selling insurance in Ohio now. So get your insurance. His Cincinnati Reds have really choked down the stretch. I know the St. Louis Cardinals have gotten incredibly hot, but the Reds had the easiest schedule in baseball. They've lost series to the Pirates, 2 to the Cubs, 1 to the Tigers, 1 to the Marlins.
Everything was lining up for them.
Lined up perfectly for them, and even I mean, they had a very good opportunity to stay in it, even with the Cardinals getting so hot. The Reds just did what they do best, and that's lose games.
Yep.
You hate to see it.
Yep.
But that's a final week of baseball.
Yeah. Sean Shriver, good friend of my dad and myself, and a avid listener, or a viewer, I should say, of the Tan and J-Man show. He texted my dad and I last night with some MLB notes. He said, in his opinion, here's the award races. AL MVP, he thinks Ohtani's got it wrapped up. He thinks Vlad Guerrero had to win the Triple Crown to have a chance.
Sure.
He said, tip of the hat to KC catcher Salvador Perez, who should finish third.
So for Shohei Ohtani, I don't think it should be unanimous. I don't even think it should be a question. I mean, we saw a dude put up 40-plus homers, and he's pitching like an absolute ace.
Yep.
In my MLB preview, which I'm bringing up real quick, I had the NL MVP, Fernando Tatis. AL MVP, I had Mike Trout, but my two sleepers were Vlad Jr. and Shohei Ohtani, and that's probably going to be the two guys that finish 1-2. In the National League, it could be interesting. It could be Bryce Harper.
Yeah, he said here for the National League, he thinks Tatis has it locked up, but if Harper has an awesome last week and lifts the Phillies into the playoffs, it could get a little interesting. He said still he'd say 97% Tatis.
Also, Juan Soto's been insane in the second half, which he could be making a late charge to that National League MVP.
As far as AL Cy Young, he sees it being a two-person race between Garrett Cole and Robbie Ray.
Yeah, Robbie Ray's
Toronto.
leading the American League in ERA.
In the AL Rookie of the Year, I can't pronounce these guys' names. Tampa's Randy
Arozarena.
Yeah, has this wrapped up, although a tip of the hat to Baltimore's Ryan Mountcastle. Yep. And for the NL awards, like I said, I did the MVP for the Cy Young. He says a Dodgers pitcher should win this, but it won't be Scherzer, Buehler, or Kershaw. I would vote for Julio Urias. He is 19-3, 3.01 ERA with 188 strikeouts. If Buehler or Scherzer win, that would be okay too.
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year, Marlins pitcher Trevor Rogers
absolutely
was the leader until late July, but he missed 6 weeks. That opened the door for Cincinnati second baseman Jonathan India.
I would still give it to
Rogers.
I would still give it to Rogers just because he doesn't play for the Cincinnati Reds.
I bet the Reds are glad you're not on the committee.
Yeah, Jonathan India is really good though. Unfortunately, I hate it.
I'm embarrassed to say I haven't heard of a lot of those guys we just mentioned. So
that's all right.
It's typical Tanner baseball knowledge, but it was fun watching the Yankees over the weekend. Giancarlo Stanton, 10 RBIs in the series at Fenway over the weekend.
Joe West has announced his retirement. Country Joe, that was his last game ever umped in Boston, unless he gets a playoff series. I don't know. He shouldn't. He's been a terrible ump forever.
I bet Tampa's rooting for New York to win the wild card because I think Tampa's beat the brakes off New York this year. So,
yeah, I don't think they really care.
Yeah, probably not. Sitting pretty either way.
This is the year for Tampa Bay to get it done, though. Team no one's even talking about.
People don't show up to their games.
The Houston Astros.
You're right.
Talking about the Houston Astros. They're probably going to go and
Just
win
think if Tampa wins this. They won hockey. They won football.
Yeah.
Win baseball. Tampa's the epicenter of
sports in America.
Crazy.
As long as not the Cardinals or Brewers or White Sox, they'll be okay.
That's bad with 3 of those teams that you really don't like in it.
I don't mind them being in it. I just don't want them to win it. I'm used to the Cardinals being in it.
You would rather it be any of those 3 than the Cincinnati Reds.
Absolutely. No one needs to see the Cincinnati Reds in the World Series.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Can you imagine?
I would hate it.
Can you imagine?
I can't imagine, and I don't like thinking about it.
That'd be really bad for you.
It'd be the worst. I would have to throw my phone in the Mississippi River. That's what I would do.
It would probably be the worst week or 2 sports-wise of your life.
The Colts-Bears Super Bowl is really bad for me. But other than that, I can't think of a scenario where it would have been worse. We
all know Notre Dame was going to get smoked by Alabama back in 2012.
Somehow a Purdue, Iowa Final Four national championship game would be bad.
Throw in Indiana in that Final Four.
In Indiana, Iowa would be bad.
Northwestern.
Indiana, Purdue would be bad. Northwestern, God forbid that ever happens. Yeah. I've seen some. I'm still used to my teams losing and my friends' teams being good, so I'm kind of numb to it at this point. I still don't like it, but it is what it is.
Yep.
Moving on to football. Big Ten.
Yep.
We had some games over the weekend.
We did.
Tell you.
We did.
Wisconsin getting shellacked by Notre Dame in the fourth quarter.
Up
essentially.
early in the fourth on Notre Dame, and then when you let give up special teams touchdown, and Graham Mertz throws back-to-back pick sixes, that doesn't help.
Graham Mertz is a bottom 2 quarterback in the Big Ten. I can't. Brandon Peters might be the only other one that's worse.
They loved him after week 1 last year. I mean, he was the talk of college football country.
Lovie Smith's defense gets quarterbacks.
They liked him enough. They gave up on
Jack Cohn. Jack Cohn's not very good either.
No, but
maybe Wisconsin's legitimately just not very good.
Well, I mean, they've lost 2 games already to Penn State and Notre Dame, which are 2 good teams. Don't get me wrong. This week, they are hosting Michigan. I mean,
I think they
lose this.
Yeah,
they might be out for the West already.
The West,
Iowa losing too many games.
The West is bad.
It is bad.
It's not good at all. Even Iowa, ranked 5th, they can't score points.
Their defense is elite, but their offense cannot score points.
They're terrible offensively.
So, in the last few years, I thought the West was. They weren't going to have the elite teams like the East, but they were moving up. Like the bottom was always tougher. This year, it's taking a step back.
Northwestern's bad. Lost to Duke.
Yep.
Minnesota lost to
Bowling Green.
I
still think they're talented, but yeah, it was bad.
Nebraska lost to Illinois. Illinois is losing to everyone else.
Nebraska should have beat Michigan State over the weekend.
They're
starting to play better. They're starting to play better.
And Illinois really should have won the past 2 as well, and they kind of choked it away at the end. And then you have Purdue at 3-1.
And they're just banged up.
It's wide open, though.
Yeah, it is
wide open.
I mean,
I think Iowa would still be the team to beat.
Yes.
But I don't trust their offense or Petrus enough to
watch out for Michigan, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
This might be the year they get Ohio State.
If they actually score. Yeah, I don't think Ohio State's as good as they have been. Definitely not as good as they have been.
It might be the year. Penn State, though, I mean, they're up to number 4 in the nation. It might be the year for –
they're pretty good.
They might be the Big Ten's best hope.
To make
the playoff. Because I think Iowa's got to run the table and win the Big Ten championship to get in.
I agree.
Even at ranked at number 5 right now.
Yeah, I would say they have to because I don't know who they play the rest of the year if they have Ohio State or
they don't
any of the big Eastern schools.
They've
already beaten Indiana, who is projected to be pretty good, and they're not looking very good so far.
They beat Iowa State, but Iowa State lost to Baylor.
Iowa State's arguably the most disappointing team in college football.
Some of the traction wearing off Campbell up there a little bit.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of reminds me a little of David Shaw at Stanford. Maybe he should have taken the NFL job when he had the chance because it might be closing on him already.
Yeah, one guy outside of Big Ten country that could even take another step towards a lot of college opening eyes is Luke Fickell at Cincinnati. Yeah. Big weekend for him against the Irish this upcoming weekend.
Facing his former defensive coordinator.
Yep, Marcus Freeman. That's number 7 Cincinnati, number 9 Notre Dame. That's a big one.
Huge.
It's a big one. Because there could be some eyes out in Southern California watching that game.
Absolutely.
I still think James Franklin's their number 1 choice.
Urban Meyer.
Yeah, well,
I'm sticking with that one,
I'm sticking with Urban staying in the NFL.
Yeah,
I'll probably look dumb, but
we'll see.
Sticking with that one. But I got some Big Ten power rankings to go over before we predict the games. Like always, starting in the cellar of the Big Ten. The cellar hadn't changed. It almost changed, but it didn't change. Got the line I had them 14th last week. I'm 14th this week.
They had every opportunity to beat Maryland, and they punted it away. Every opportunity to beat Purdue, and they punted it away on 4th and 2.
Their punter's their best player.
He's a fantastic
Haynes
punter.
Is a really good punter, and the kicker's good too.
Their freshman running back, Josh McCray,
he's good. He's got promise.
Looks like a Bielema running back, a big bruising runner, and he had a great game. He only played 32 snaps, and he had 24 carries. I know you got to give him a rest, but he needs to be in there.
And I know these aren't Bielema's guys, but man, he's got a dinosaur of an offense.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the quarterback, Brandon Peters.
Put the other guy back.
Well, they need to, and they're sticking with Peters. It should be Sikowski because he's thrown 6 touchdowns to 1 interception. Peters hasn't thrown a single touchdown. He's only completing 48% of his passes. They got Tony Peterson from App State, and Appalachian State fans were rejoicing when he took the Illinois job, so that kind of tells you something.
Number 13 got the same team I had last week. That's Northwestern. They did get an easy win over Ohio, but still not believers in them.
No, not
They're pretty disappointing. Number 12, I had this team at number 10 last week. That's the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Have to slide them down a little bit. They were 31-point favorites to Bowling Green, a team that had not won a game last year, came into this game 1-2, I believe.
Terrible loss.
And I know Tanner Morgan was without his top target, but he didn't even pass for 100 yards, threw multiple picks to Bowling Green. It was one of those games you see the halftime score, like, okay, Bowling Green's winning, but Minnesota's going to come back and beat them pretty easily. Kept checking score. Nope. And then Bowling Green wins. So, yeah, not good for PJ Fleck there.
That shine might be dimming a little bit as well.
I think you're right. Number 11, I had this team at number 8 last week. That's Wisconsin Badgers. I mean, I know they've lost to good teams, Penn State and Notre Dame, but when you're winning in the fourth quarter, then you get beat 41-13, and like you said, Graham Mertz just not looking good.
He's throwing one touchdown this year.
I think some Badger fans are a little unpleased with Paul Chryst right now. Number 10, I have this team moving up 2 spots from 12, even in a loss. That's the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They fought hard at Michigan State, lost in overtime, and that's 2 weeks in a row. They've played ranked teams down to the wire. So maybe they're finding something to click, but they got to get over that hump.
Have to get a win,
especially losses, this week. The losses are racking up. Number 9, I had this team moving up from number 11. That's Indiana Hoosiers. They won a trap game, what I call a trap game.
On the road at Western Kentucky.
At Western Kentucky, a team that was 1-on-1. Western Kentucky throws the ball over the field. Michael Penix Jr. actually finally had a really good game. They needed it because it was going to be whoever could win the shootout pretty much. So they got away with one there, which they need to do. I mean, because that would have put them at 1-3. They would have been maybe in trouble to make a bowl at that point. Number 8, I have this team moving up from 1 slot from number 9. That's Purdue. They are 3-1. They haven't beat the greatest teams, even though Oregon State, it was nice to see them blow out USC. I know USC is not that good, but they're always talented at least. But Purdue's injuries are racking up. I think they'll make a quarterback switch to Aiden O'Connell this week. David Bell, don't know if he's going to play. Not only is Xander Horvath, number 1 running back out, but King Daru, number 2 running back, could be out for the year. They lost their tight end, Payne Durham, possibly this week. Branson Dean, a defensive lineman. I can just go on and on. It's just, I can put it this way. I can name Purdue's 10 best players. At least 5 of them are out right now. So it hurts when your team's not very deep. Yeah. So we'll see if they can somehow get past Minnesota this week, be 4-1 going into the bye week. I'm going to be extremely happy.
Absolutely.
I mean, they would be almost to that 6-win mark was all I want.
They needed to find a way to beat Illinois in order to get it to a bowl, and they found a way.
At the start of the year, I said they need to be 3-1 at the worst after 4, and they're 3-1. So they've done what I said they needed to do. Number 7, didn't move at all for me from last week. The Rutgers played tough against Michigan, lost by a touchdown. I think Shiano's got to get this team to a bowl. It's really impressive what he's done this quickly over in the Piscataway. Number 6, I got the Maryland Terrapins. They were number 6 last week. We'll talk about teams that's almost bowl eligible.
Yeah, 2 more wins.
4 W's. I had them winning, I believe, 2 games. So that tells you how much I know. Number 5, no movement. Ohio State Buckeyes. They killed Akron like they should. Now we're getting into Big Ten play. It'll be interesting to see if somebody else can get them.
I think somebody else will get them.
Number 4, I actually had this team dropping a spot, and I kind of feel bad about it. It's Michigan State. I mean, they win an overtime game. They're undefeated. They're ranked in the top 20. I have them 4th, but I think these other 3 teams are just better. So, but Mel Tucker's doing a good job. It's another team I thought was going to be absolute garbage, and they're proving me wrong. Number 3, had this team moving up 1 spot from number 4. That's Michigan Wolverines. Like I said, Harbaugh's team's got it this year, it looks like. I mean, long ways to go, but I think they'll win this weekend.
The competition hasn't been great for them either so far. I mean, they thought Washington was going to be a good opponent, and they've just been awful this year. But, they're actually scoring points. They're running the ball really, really well.
I wish I had these 2 flip-flop, but I don't. The more I think about it, I should have, but I didn't. Number 2 is Penn State. I had them number 2 last week. They're number 4th in the country. But I don't know why I have them number 2. They're really good, and they did beat Auburn, which I would say is a better win than any of the wins Iowa has. But I got the Hawkeyes still number 1. Elite defense.
Great defense.
Petrus and the offense, they do need to kind of get out of their funk and score some more points because I think it's going to bite them here sooner or later in Big Ten play.
Speaking of Iowa, they travel to Maryland Friday night on Fox Sports 1.
Another Friday night game for Maryland.
Who you got? Yeah, they like those Friday nights.
I think this will be a good one, but I got the Hawkeyes in for 5 confident points.
I'm taking the upset. I don't know if Iowa will be able to score enough points.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
I think Talia, is that his name? Tagovailoa, Tua's little brother, has been the best quarterback in the Big Ten so far. Give me Maryland for 1.
Maryland wins this. They're ranked.
Absolutely, they'd have to be. Charlotte travels to the Illini. Illini 11-point favorites.
Yeah, I don't know much about Charlotte. I know Illinois
They beat Duke.
I know everybody beats Duke.
Yeah, except Northwestern.
That's right. I know Illinois has been struggling, but give me Illini for 7.
I have Illinois for 4. You can get in the door tickets as low as $3.
Reminds me of Daryl Hazel era, 99-cent tickets.
I think this has potential to be Illinois' last victory, although I think they can get Minnesota or Northwestern.
Yeah.
I mean, they've played tough the past 2 weeks.
Especially if one of those two teams is having a down year already, especially Northwestern if it's the last week of the season.
Yeah. I mean, Illinois played tough, and their defenses look really good against 2 good offenses. Of course, Purdue is banged up. But their defense has looked a lot better recently than it did at all under Lovey. So maybe they found a spark there. Have to find a way to win one eventually, though. Michigan at Wisconsin. Michigan is a 1-point favorite.
Yeah, I think this will be a good game. Camp Randall's a tough place to play. Wisconsin's kind of got their backs up against the wall. Let's see if they come out swinging. I think they will, but I think Michigan prevails. Give me the Wolverines for 3.
I have Michigan for 2. This is Michigan's first real big test, road test.
I mean, like we said, if Wisconsin loses this game, it's 3 losses already.
1-3, yeah.
And we're not even, well, we will be in October.
And 0-2 in the Big Ten.
By Saturday.
0-2 in the Big Ten. Minnesota at Purdue. Purdue 2.5-point favorites.
Yeah, this game scares me. Like I said, don't know who's going to be suiting up for Purdue. I assume Aiden O'Connell is going to be starting like he should, especially if you're going to be one-dimensional. You got to put your more accurate passer in there. The guy who's not afraid to let it go. PJ Flex had Purdue's number. He's 3-1 against Jeff Brom. I know this is one coach Jeff Brom would really like to beat. My heart's telling me Purdue, but that's only for a point.
I have Purdue for 3. I think it'll be a very close game.
Yeah, I hate it.
Minnesota coming off the bad loss.
They're going to be angry.
They're going to be angry, and they should be angry because that was awful.
Tanner Morgan's an absolute Purdue killer. I think he's in the 3 games he's played at 3-0. He's put up, I think, 799 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. But he doesn't have the elite receivers he used to have around him.
Rashad Bateman ain't walking through that door.
And who was the other guy the year before that made the
Tyler
pros?
Johnson.
Yep.
Ohio State at Rutgers. Ohio State's 15.5-point.
Yeah, Schiano going against the team he used to be D coordinator at. I'm looking forward to this one. I think it'll be a competitive game. Like Rutgers gave Michigan a competitive game, but I think Ohio State in the end flexes their muscles. Give me the Buckeyes for 4.
I have Ohio State for 7.
Oh,
I think they get it done fairly handily. IU travels to Penn State. Penn State is 10.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I knew this was a night game. I didn't realize it was ABC until today. I think this will be by far the toughest environment IU's played at. Yeah, I mean, they played at Iowa, I guess, but night game in Happy Valley is a little different. Even though Kinnick night gets rocking too. I'm going to shut up. I'm backtracking on what I said, but give me Penn State for 8.
I have Penn State for 6. I just don't think IU will be able to score enough points. Western Kentucky travels to Michigan State. Michigan State's 10.5-point favorites.
I enjoyed watching Western Kentucky sling the ball the other night. It kind of made me sad. I'm like, I remember when Purdue's offense was like this when they got the staff from Western Kentucky, and now they're not so much like that anymore. But give me Michigan State. I got them for 6.
I have Michigan State for 8. This could be a sort of trap game as well, just coming off a win against Nebraska. But I think Michigan State is locked in and gets her done.
Yeah, it could definitely be a trap game, though.
Northwestern at Nebraska. Nebraska 10.5-point favorites.
Yeah, that's wild, isn't it? But give me Nebraska, but for 2 points.
I have Nebraska for 5. Northwestern's not good. Nebraska's played pretty well the past 2 weeks, even though they've lost.
Yeah, if Nebraska loses this one, the seat's burning for Scott Frost.
Yep. Moving on to the top 25 games. Number 8, Arkansas travels to Athens, Georgia to face.
This is game day.
Is it game day? It's a nooner on ESPN, too. Yep. Georgia's 18.5-point favorites. They're arguably a top 2 team in the country because they're ranked 2nd.
Yeah, they're right there with Alabama.
That
could be the national championship game, which was a classic last time we got it. Give me Georgia.
I think Georgia, and I think they cover. Though Arkansas continues to surprise me.
Oh, yeah. Sam Pittman, man. I thought that was a bad hire. But he's familiar with Georgia.
Yeah.
Came from Georgia. He's offensive line coach there. So
3-1 Louisville traveled to number 24 Wake Forest.
Yeah, the 2 surprise teams in the ACC got undefeated Wake Forest, undefeated Boston College. Who would have thought that?
Boston College.
Everybody thought Clemson, North Carolina, Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Wake Forest and Boston College. Give me the Demon Deacons.
Wake is 6.5-point favorites. I agree. I think they cover. I agree. Cincinnati travels to South Bend, Indiana, Notre Dame, Indiana. Sorry, to face Notre Dame. Cincinnati is 2.5-point favorites.
Notre Dame's schedule eases up a lot after this game, I feel like. I want to take Cincinnati, but I don't think they get it done. I think Notre Dame squeaks out a close one.
I agree. Now, will Jack Cohn play is the question. I'm a very...
They went with the third-string kid, and he didn't do too bad.
Non-Jack Cohn fan. I don't think he's very good, but I think they need him.
Should we start preparing ourselves for Notre Dame in the playoff again?
Again, and they're going to get shellacked once again. And the whole sort of story is going to be the exact same as it has been in a few years. Let somebody else get in because they can't handle the Alabamas of the world.
Well, not many people can, but
they won't have to face Clemson this year.
Right. Clemson is out after losing in overtime to NC State. But, Jack Kelly, Brian Kelly is Notre Dame's all-time winningest head coach now after getting a win over the weekend. But he said he knows his legacy's got to be dependent on if he can win a national championship at Notre Dame.
I don't think it'll ever happen.
Nobody's done it since 88. So.
Number 12, Ole Miss travels to Tuscaloosa to face Bama.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin's got the boys playing well, but it's Alabama. Alabama wins.
Yeah, Alabama's 14.5-point favorite. I think they cover. Bryce Young, probably the early Heisman leader, I'd imagine.
I know this kid's not going to watch it or win it, but watch the quarterback from Fresno State. He's putting up some numbers, and they're ranked, and they're pretty good. Dark horse. No, he probably doesn't play good enough teams.
Number 3, Oregon travels to Stanford.
I like this Oregon team. Stanford can be a tough place to play. David Shaw's a good coach.
2-2.
But give me the Ducks.
Give me Oregon as well. Oklahoma travels to 3-1 Kansas State.
Oklahoma needs to wake up.
They're winning games.
They survived West Virginia and Nebraska. Kansas State got beat by Oklahoma State over the weekend, knocked them out of the rankings. Oklahoma's got to be careful. They got to wake up or they're going to get beat this week. But I believe Lincoln Riley gets Spencer Adler ready to go, and they pull it out.
Yeah, I hate agreeing with you, but I'm going to have to agree with you again.
I'm a smart man, J-Man.
Could see Kansas State pulling this upset, though.
Yeah.
This is a very good matchup. 3-1, number 10, Florida travels to Lexington to face 4-0 Kentucky.
Who have they played? I honestly want to know.
I have no idea, but if they're 4-0 and they're in the SEC, I'd figure they'd be ranked 9th, and they're not ranked at all. They've played Louisiana Monroe, Missouri, UT Chattanooga. They beat UT Chattanooga by 5, and then they beat South Carolina by 6. Give me Florida.
Florida rolls.
I had every
You're going to go the upset?
I was going to go the upset until I saw who they'd play.
That's why I wanted to see. Florida. I'm like, that's cupcake schedule. Give me Florida. I think Florida's really good.
Number 21, Baylor heads to number 19, Oklahoma State.
That was the first time Baylor's knocked off a ranked opponent in the last 16 tries. Gundy got the boys going against Kansas State. Stillwater's a tough place to play. This will be a shootout. This will be a no defense, fun Big 12 game to watch.
66-60.
Yep. Give me the Cowboys.
Oklahoma State 3.5-point favorite. I'm different. I'm going Baylor on the road. Gets mini upset. I mean, it's on the road. I guess it's a pretty big upset. Clemson somehow still ranked 25th. Boston College has to travel there, 4-0.
It's the first time Clemson's fell out of the top 10 in ages. Boston College undefeated, but they're going to have it's a tough road game. Clemson's not going to be happy. Give me the Tigers.
Clemson's 16-point favorites.
I think Boston College covers that, but give me the Tigers.
I don't know if Clemson has 16 points in them ever. This offense is atrocious. I think Clemson wins something like 13-10.
And Boston College is with their backup quarterback. They lost their starter earlier this year for the season. That Notre Dame transfer from a couple of years ago had a really tough name to pronounce. Yeah.
Number 22, Auburn travels to Death Valley.
Tigers are going to win this game.
LSU is 3.5-point favorite.
That joke's getting old.
It's played out.
Bo Nix, 5-8 all time in road/neutral games. Continues. He drops to 5-9. LSU gets it done.
I think Auburn wins in an upset.
Coach O will be on the hot seat of that happens big time.
This is a good one here. 3-1 Arizona State travels to the Rose Bowl to face number 20 UCLA.
2 former NFL head coaches here: Herm Edwards, Chip Kelly.
You play to win the game.
And I don't know. Chip Kelly never said anything that famous. So give me the Chips. Give me the Bruins. Chip Kelly and the boys get there.
Arizona State in an upset. Fresno State travels to Hawaii real quick.
Yeah, I like this Fresno State team. Give me Fresno.
Fresno State's quarterback has almost 2,000 yards passing and 15 touchdowns.
Put up a lot of numbers
so far, but give me Fresno State. Got anything else as far as college football? You have word association for college football?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, I got word association for college football. And sticking with the Big Ten, we've been on the Big Ten theme a lot with word associations, but these are kind of fun. So I went with past quarterbacks for each school.
I like that.
All of them. Some of them are years ago. Some of them are more recent.
I like it.
No active ones. I went alphabetical order, starting with your Illini. But they were they were when this guy played. Nathan Shieldhouse.
He's arguably been their best quarterback since 2000.
Juice?
He was better. I think Shieldhouse was a better thrower than Juice anyway. He is now on Matt Campbell's staff at Iowa State. Lovey refused to hire him, and now Shieldhouse is working his way up, and he's become one of their best recruiters.
Lovey.
Yep.
Iowa Hawkeyes, Drew Tate.
Oh, the bomb against LSU. I think that was Saban's last game at LSU.
I think you're right. Capital One Bowl.
Yeah, I think my uncle was there.
Indiana Hoosiers, Ben Chappell.
Oh, I remember Chappell. First thing that comes to mind, terrible teams he was on.
Yeah, I found this cool website that ranks, and fans can vote. It ranks the quarterbacks. He was ranked Indiana's fourth best quarterback ever. He's there from 07 to 10.
He could sling it. Those teams were bad, though, like 1-11 kind of bad.
Maryland, I struggled, so I went with a guy you've heard of, old quarterback, Boomer Esiason.
Oh, I hate him. I hate him.
I don't like him either.
CBS is the first word that kind of comes to mind.
Because besides that, I could not. I was like,
I didn't know he went to Maryland.
Quarterbacks.
Yeah, I didn't know he went to Maryland.
Michigan, you should be able to guess which one I gave you here. Chad Henne.
Oh, man. Mr. Interception.
He just reminds me of Lloyd Carr right away. Lloyd Carr's quarterback for like 4 years.
That classic number 1 Ohio State against number 2 Michigan.
Yeah. Well, 42-39 or something like that.
Yeah.
Michigan State, Connor Cook.
Man, overhyped. He had that. I think his first career start was against Illinois, kind of like Graham Mertz, and he goes 14 for 15 with a couple touchdowns. I was at that game. He was a guy that got worse as his career went on.
They had so many quarterbacks alike, like Hoyer, Connor Cook,
Cousins,
Drew Stanton back in the day, Kirk Cousins, like all in a row, 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Minnesota Golden Gophers, Tony Dungy.
Oh, man. First thing that comes to mind. Tampa 2. Wasn't he the one that kind of, him and Lovey kind of teamed together, wasn't it? Or was it Lovey?
Yeah, Lovey was the coordinator down in Tampa.
Lovey was in Los Angeles or St. Louis.
I thought he was at Tampa, too, for a little bit.
He was the head coach at Tampa.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Man, that guy's been everywhere. Nebraska, Eric Crouch.
Oh, man. Heisman.
Yep.
Tried him out at defensive back in the NFL. Didn't go well.
And he was ranked like third best quarterback in school history.
He was good. Like he was more of a running back option type.
He went undrafted, and the Packers tried to make him, and the Rams, I believe, both tried to make him wide receiver, and it didn't work.
I wonder if his style of quarterback would work in college football now that he couldn't really throw that well.
Northwestern, Trevor Simeon.
Oh, man. T-Money Wiggle.
I knew that was coming. I almost said it myself.
T-Money Wiggle.
I don't think he's in the league anymore. Oh, no. I think he was on the Titans in the offseason.
I remember him shattering his leg against when he played for the Jets.
Yeah.
He wasn't a bad backup. Denver tried to rely on him to start, and it just didn't.
He had like 4 weeks. He looked really, really good.
It went as well as we thought it would, and I think you would have definitely been there, but I'm pretty sure I was at the Purdue Northwestern game when he blew out his ACL.
Yeah, 2014. That was the Northwestern win. That was Dale Hazel special. Ohio State, Terrell Pryor.
Terrell Pryor. Tattoo.
Yes, I almost went with Braxton Miller, but I thought Pryor would be more fun there.
Braxton Miller was a bust in the NFL, wasn't he?
Oh, they switched him at wide receiver at Ohio State, too. Penn State, Jason Campbell.
I thought Jason Campbell went to Auburn.
He did. Why did I think he went to Penn State?
Were you thinking Michael Robinson or?
No, I screwed up. Wow, that is bad. Let me think of a Penn State quarterback off the top of my head. I can't think of a Penn State quarterback. Matt McGloin.
Redhead.
Jason, good one, Tanner. Jason Campbell. Why did I think he went to Penn State? I don't think he
went to Penn State.
You're right. Auburn, blue and white. I got it confused in my head. Didn't even Google it or anything. Purdue Boilermakers, Caleb Turbush.
Oh, man.
Turbo.
Pick 6.
Notre Dame.
Dame.
Wasn't a pick six, but it was a bad interception.
Oh, he didn't throw a pick six?
No, they scored 2 plays later. Michael Floyd over the top.
The sad thing was you knew exactly what I was talking about.
First play of the game, down 11. Place was rocking. He underthrows Gabe Holmes by like 20 yards. Rutgers, Ray Lucas.
Former Dolphin.
That's why I put it in there.
Jet. Yeah, him and Fiedler would kind of like trade games, it felt like.
That was another one. I'm like, I don't know Rutgers quarterbacks. Wisconsin, you could really take your pick, but I went Scott Tolzien.
Oh, man. Peyton's back up. Wasn't he Peyton's backup?
Jim Sorgi was. Tolzien actually played for the Colts a few years ago.
That's right. They all look the same, too.
Do.
That's why I get them. They all run together. They had, who was that guy? He was like a walk-on. Joel Stave.
Yep.
He was terrible.
I mean, I could have went with Russell Wilson, but that wouldn't have been fun.
No.
And I still say he's more of a NC State guy, even though he had more success in Wisconsin.
That was a good list.
The Word Association segment, like it is every week, is brought to you by Rhett Lee, Attorney at Law. Rhett Lee and the law office of Andrew Key, LLC, are located at 206 4th Street in Logansport, Indiana. Rhett provides legal services to the people of North Central Indiana and practices criminal defense, family law, and personal injury. If you need a lawyer who cares about your results and will fight for you, give Rhett a call today to schedule a free consultation at 574-722-2221.
3 winners, 3 losers in the NFL this week. What's one of your winners?
One of my winners, Jason Tucker.
Yeah.
Justin Tucker. Dude, it's bad, man. I was so confident. Justin. I didn't even write it down because I wrote down special teams. Justin Tucker.
When you said Jason, I'm like,
you nodded.
I'm like, yeah,
that's not right.
Like, because it didn't sound right in my brain, but like maybe it's just my brain on this Monday night.
Jason Campbell went to Penn State.
It was Tanner's brain on this Monday night.
Jason Tucker kicks for the Ravens. Justin Tucker, longest field goal in NFL history, 66 yards to beat the Lions.
Could you imagine if he was in Denver? That would have been 75.
I knew he could hit 60. I didn't know he had 66 in him.
Hit the
He's
crossbar.
the best kicker I've ever seen in the NFL.
Ever. Not even close.
Doesn't miss.
He's more.
He did miss one yesterday. But
Adam Vinatieri hit those huge ones in the Super Bowl. Justin Tucker is by far the most clutch kicker in NFL history.
Can you imagine being a Lions fan today?
Thinking you had the game. That's just something that would happen to the Lions.
You know, we make fun of a lot of fan bases. Being a Lions fan might be the worst thing in pro sports.
It's got to be.
They suck.
Yeah,
they've always been.
They're terrible.
Now, it shouldn't even been a game as close a game as it was.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood Brown dropped 3 balls. One was a guaranteed touchdown. I mean, the dude, he was so bad yesterday. He couldn't catch a cold if he was standing up naked on Mount Everest eating a peppermint patty.
Man, I like peppermint patty.
That's how bad he was yesterday.
Yeah.
But and Sammy Watkins about blew the game because he tried to fight for an extra yard with 15 seconds left.
Yeah,
like, who are you? What makes you think like you can get an extra yard? Just go down. Get out of bounds. Yep. Justin Tucker, one of my winners.
Both LA teams.
I do have the Chargers as one of my winners.
Chargers going into Kansas City. Man, Dolphins screwed up not taking Justin Herbert.
He's a stud. Yeah, I wish the Dolphins would have taken him. Darn it.
Of course, the guy who was the for sure number 5 pick, everyone said Dolphins should not take Justin Herbert, should take Tua Tagovailoa. The exact opposite happens to them like it always does. But them going into Kansas City and winning that game, absolutely huge. Rams blowing out the defending Super Bowl
Rams are
champs.
good. Stafford's an MVP candidate.
They might be the best team in the NFL
Stafford's
right now.
Good, man.
3 weeks in.
He's real good.
So.
Reasons? Any reasons that Kansas City fans should be a little worried?
Could have lost week 1. They could easily be 0-3.
I think they're having a Super Bowl hangover a little bit, but I still think they're too good not to make the playoffs.
First time under 500 since 2015.
Yep.
I think odds. I would say the odds are greater that they win the division than they don't.
I agree.
But I mean, the defense is not good. They just. I don't know. Maybe the shine's kind of worn off a little bit. I know I'm sick of them. I don't even like Patrick Mahomes anymore, and I used to really like him.
I think that division's the best in football.
NFC
West is good too.
All 4 teams. Chiefs are 1 and 2, but I think they're still the best team in the division.
I do too.
Raiders are playing better than anyone probably besides the LA Rams. Denver's 3-0. Chargers are 2-1.
Yeah.
It's a really good division.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's your other winner?
The Bills.
They're
talking about one of the best teams in football. They shellacked a really good defense.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen is so good.
So good. unbelievably
Yeah,
good.
he's ridiculous.
That's also just the Dolphins' luck.
That's another one that John Elway could have had at number 5, but he wasn't interested.
I remember a lot of people did not want him because he was not that good at Wyoming.
I know. Yeah.
Green Bay Packers.
That was a solid win.
Down 1, 37 seconds left.
Their fans knew better not to panic after
Zero
week
timeouts.
1.
0 timeouts.
Yep.
And Aaron Rodgers does what he does best.
Devontae Adams, the best wide receiver in football.
You can easily make that case. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know who would be better. And honestly, Devontae's been probably one of the top guys for
pretty good.
3 or 4 years now. But Green Bay Packers are my last winner.
Losers. Chicago Bears. We didn't expect them to win at Cleveland. We expect them to at least get 100 yards.
9 sacks, I think it was. 9 or 10 sacks
Pitiful.
they gave up.
Pitiful.
Justin Fields, 6 for 20. Their net passing was 1 total yard.
Time for Matt Nagy to go.
Yep. I was
like in 5 weeks.
Saying he should have been gone after last season. They got hot at the end of the year.
I don't think the players like him. They're not listening to him. I mean, when your third-string quarterback, Nick Foles, mouths and gets caught on camera, the offense just isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
Something's up.
This is now 4 years or 3 years of Matt Nagy calling plays where it has not worked. He needs to, at the very least, relinquish those duties. He speaks in cliches after the game too. Have to kind of Daryl Hazels it after like a film.
See what today he said. Dalton Fields or Foles, either any of them could start this week.
Nothing like leaving your team in the balance there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pathetic. Pittsburgh Steelers.
They're on my list too.
Losing at home to Cincinnati. Cincinnati hadn't won in Pittsburgh in a long time.
Good win for Cincinnati.
They're 2-1.
Big Ben starting to see some cracks in the foundation.
They look so good week 1 against Buffalo.
This reminds me of what the Giants were trying to do with Eli. The guy signs for a little less than he could have somewhere else. They're trying to relive the glory days one more year. Just not working.
The offensive line is brutal. I saw a stat today. Najee Harris has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any other running back in the NFL so far. 70% of his carries, he's been hit behind the line of scrimmage so far. They're in trouble.
Yeah.
And it's only 3 weeks in.
Yep.
Another loser.
Seattle Seahawks.
They are on my list.
They've lost 2 in a row. Last week they lost in overtime to the Titans at home. They go into the Vikings, who neither of us really thought they were a good team. It can be a tough place to play, and they get beat pretty easily.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a tough division.
1-2.
You're already 1-2 in that division?
With 2 teams that are already 3-0, and I think San Francisco's solid. They probably it's getting time where you almost want a quarterback change there because Jimmy G hasn't been that good. He was okay last night.
Yep.
My last loser, New England Patriots, had a chance at home and just got whooped by a Saints team that got absolutely murdered last week.
I can't wait to see Tom Brady carve them up.
Sunday
night.
It's gonna happen Sunday night. Can you imagine how loud that place is?
He's gonna pass Drew Brees for the all-time yardage record.
It's over 80,000. Yeah,
it's gonna be nuts how that all worked out.
Yeah,
I feel kind of nasty rooting for Tom Brady, but I just like him better than I do Bill Belichick.
Yeah. The NL East, man, I have baseball in the
that makes me feel better that you at least screwed up a little bit there.
The AFC East is the Bills, and that's about it right now.
Yeah.
But, moving on to Pick'em. Tanner won the belt again. That will, we're just going to go right past that, not even acknowledge.
You might as well just say, I can cut that and just insert it
for
the rest of the season.
You were hot at the beginning of last year, and then I got hot at the end.
You did.
And I ended up winning.
You did. This is New Year.
Thursday night, back-to-back number 1 quarterbacks taken are playing each other. Jacksonville Jaguars travels to the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are 7.5-point favorites.
Give me the Bengals and give me 11.
I have the Bengals for 9. Jamar Chase,
looks solid, man.
After all that talk of him not being able to catch the football, caught 2 touchdowns yesterday. Looks like a pretty dang good pick.
Mm-hmm.
The 0-3 Indianapolis Colts travel to the banged-up Miami Dolphins.
I hate this matchup because it is tough for me to pick.
It's a coin flip.
Sorry, Josh. I'm going with the Colts for 3. And I don't like it. I don't like that I did that.
Dolphins are a 1.5 favorite right now. Dolphins shouldn't have even been in the game yesterday at the end, and they somehow found a way to score with 2 seconds left and get the 2-point conversion to tie it and then lost in overtime. I'm taking the Dolphins for 3. It's a coin flip, and I'm taking the home team pretty much.
We could see a fired up J-Man on Twitter because he does not like the Colts.
I don't like the Colts. I think the Dolphins defense will do enough to keep them in the game. The offense has been the second worst offense in football in every statistical category behind the Chicago Bears.
Colts are almost
just ahead of the
back up against their backs up against the wall. If they don't win this, they're looking desperate. At an 0-5 start, and some of their players are breaking too.
Yeah, so. It's an interesting matchup. Jacoby Brissett facing his former team. Jacoby Brissett 4.4 yards per drop back yesterday.
That's not fun.
Awful. Washington football team travels to Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't like my pick or points for this at all. I'm taking the Falcons for 8, and I don't know why.
I'm taking the Falcons as well, but only for 2.
Yeah, I don't know why I put 8 on that.
Washington's 1.5 favorites. Man, that's a terrible matchup.
Yeah,
that is a game that I will not watch a second of.
Nope.
I can guarantee you that one. One of the largest spreads I have ever seen on an NFL game is happening when the Houston Texans travel to Buffalo.
Yeah, I guarantee it's both of our 16-pointers, Buffalo.
Yep. Buffalo 17-point favorites.
Yep.
Detroit Lions at 0-3 should have won, except for Jason Tucker. Travels to
put on a shirt.
The terrible Chicago Bears. Bears are our 3-point favorites, though.
Give me the Lions for 7.
Dude, I have the Lions for 6, so we're right on the money.
Bear fans are going to hate us.
The Bears are bad.
And the Lions have been close.
They have been.
They show some life. I mean, they shouldn't have. Well, like I said, Hollywood Brown couldn't. Yeah, I already said my statement about him.
It's getting ugly in Chicago with how bad the offensive line was, and then Matt Nagy just being a terrible play caller for one. But yeah, Carolina at 3-0 travels to Dallas.
It looks like Carolina's going to get some more defensive back help. Looks like they're going to acquire C.J. Henderson from the Jaguars. So
he needed to change the scenery there.
Yeah, put him with Horn back there. That could be a
J.C. Horn might be out for the rest of the year, though. He broke his foot in 3 spots.
Didn't see that. Yep. Maybe that's why they're going to get him.
On Thursday night. Yep.
I didn't watch any of that game. So I know the Cowboys play tonight, and this could influence my pick, but give me the Cowboys for 9.
I have the Dallas Cowboys for 14.
You like the Cowboys.
I don't like the Cowboys.
You like them and pick them.
I think they're solid. They are 4-point favorites. Cleveland Browns travel to the Minnesota Vikings.
This was a tough one to pick, but I'm taking the Browns for 6.
I have the Browns for 8. Cleveland is 2-point favorites on the road. Coin flip, though, although our point totals do not suggest it's a coin flip.
No.
Worst team in football, New York Giants travel to New Orleans.
New Orleans home opener. Technically, it's finally in the Superdome. Yeah. Give me the Saints for 14.
Did you see the Superdome was on fire last week?
Yeah, what the heck?
I don't know what happened.
Something's always wrong with that building. But it's Kanye. Kanye's still in the basement.
Probably.
Still living in the basement. So give me the Saints for 14.
I have the Saints for 12. Tennessee Titans travels to probably the second worst team in the NFL. Not coincidentally. They are in New York as well, or New Jersey, technically.
Yeah.
To the New York Jets.
It's just not getting easier for Zach Wilson. Give me the Titans for 15.
I have Titans for 13. Titans are 7.5-point favorites. I think they get it done pretty easily. Kansas City Chiefs travel to Philadelphia, who play tonight.
This will be an interesting one.
Chiefs are 6.5-point favorites.
I'm taking the Chiefs for 10, even though they're 1-2.
I have the Chiefs for 10 as well. I think they've lost 2 straight games since the last time they've done that. I'm sure it's been a minute.
And glad to see Andy Reid's okay.
Yeah, he's out of the hospital. Chiefs for 10. Game of the year to date, the Arizona Cardinals travel to Los Angeles to face the Rams.
This could be a fun one.
Rams are 6-point favorites.
Give me the home team, the Rams for 4.
I have the Rams for 1. This will be a really, really, really good matchup, and I am very much looking forward to it. The disappointing 1-2 Seattle Seahawks travel to Santa Clara to face the San Francisco 49ers.
I mean, I was big on San Fran in our picks. I think I only had them losing 1 or 2 games, so I got to stick with that. Give me San Fran, but only for 2.
I have Seattle for 4. You don't see Seattle lose 3 straight games very often. Not a believer in Jimmy Garoppolo. Baltimore Ravens snuck one out on yesterday. Travel to the Maha City.
Yeah, the Ravens have been 3 close games. I think this will be a close one. Lamar could give Denver's defense a lot of problems, but Denver's defense is playing really well. I know they're 3-0. All 3 teams don't have a win. They've played arguably the worst teams in the league. Got to play who's on their schedule now. It gets tough for Denver. My heart's going with Denver, but only for a point.
Denver 1-point favorites.
Yeah, I don't know how, but
the 3 teams Denver's played 0-9 combined. That's
what I said.
And they look
awful.
They look like the 3 worst teams in the NFL. I think I will go on record and say I believe Denver is legitimately pretty good. I think they're in for a little bit of a rude awakening this week.
Injuries are starting to pile up for them, too. KJ Hamler, who was Judy's replacement, out for the year.
The curse.
It's the curse. Yep.
I have Baltimore for 7. Although I think it's a coin flip as well. I just had to put a point total on, and that was about the last one I did. Pittsburgh travels to Green Bay. It doesn't get easier for Pittsburgh.
Taking the Packers for 12.
I have Green Bay for 11. Packers are 6.5 point favorites. Tampa Bay, as we mentioned earlier, Tom Brady coming back to New England for the first time. Bill Belichick said, I think today, that Tom Brady had his choice and he chose the better option for him. It's not that we didn't want him.
I'm going with the Buccaneers for 13.
I have Tampa Bay for 15. Tampa Bay is 6.5 point favorites. I just don't think Mac Jones will be able to put up enough points. Then Monday night, a really, really, really good matchup here. The Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, travel to Inglewood. Forgot they're not in Carson City anymore. To face the LA Chargers.
Raiders will probably have more fans there than the Chargers.
Yep.
I'm taking the Chargers for 5.
Man, I had the Chargers winning, but I switched it at the last second.
It's a coin flip.
It is, and I have Raiders for 5. So I think it'll be a good matchup, though. I think the Raiders are good.
I know.
I could see them starting to wake up a little bit, though.
I hope.
They about did yesterday.
I hope.
That's all we got for Pick'em.
Why don't you remind everybody who this podcast is brought to you by, J-Man?
This episode's brought to you by The Damn Landing. Whether you want an epic burger, hand-tossed pizza, hand-breaded tenderloin, seafood, craft beer, or a handcrafted cocktail, The Damn Landing is the place to be. Damn Landing is a bar and grill located on beautiful Lake Manitou, focuses on freshness and quality. The Damn Landing, with their delicious food, you can wash it down with one of their 16 beers on tap, including a constant rotation of today's best microbrews and domestic flavors, or a handcrafted cocktail made using fresh ingredients, taking the fantastic views of Lake Manitou and their beer garden or outdoor bar area. Whether it be boats or wheels, The Damn Landing is the place to be, located at 1305 Ewing Road in Rochester.
And this episode is also brought to you by Circle 15 Golf. Circle 15 Golf is a brand focused on bringing tour quality products and experience to the everyday golfer like the J-Man and myself and most of our listeners and viewers. Built on 25 years of tour experience, featuring the Genesis glove, the most durable and comfortable glove available, and the patented Glove Hub, the first and only glove humidor on the market. Find these products and more, along with hats, divot repair tools, ball markers, at circle15golf.com. And I realize we haven't done the On This Day segment yet today.
I rifle through.
am going to try to read this as fast as I can.
Had a lot to cover this week.
Yes, we did. Let's see here. On this day in 1923, New York Yankee legend Lou Gehrig hit his first of his 493 home runs.
Pretty good one. Pretty good.
Let's see.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
On this day, 1942, the New York Giants beat the Washington Redskins 14-7 without making a first down.
Ooh,
don't see that happen. On this day, 1961, Sandy Koufax set an NL strikeout season record at 269.
He retired really early, or we'd be talking about him as maybe the greatest pitcher ever.
On this day, 1973, Nolan Ryan struck out 16 batters in 11 innings for a record 383 in a season. Back then, it was record, at least. Maybe that's been broken. On this day, in 1983, Tim Raines was the first since Ty Cobb to steal 70 and drive in 70 runs.
Timmy.
Let's see here. On this day, in 1992, the LA Dodgers, for the first time in history, clinched last place.
Oh, and I missed those days.
On this day, in 2005, the Atlanta Braves clinched their 14th straight division title thanks to Philadelphia's loss to the New York Mets. On this day in 2008, Greg Maddux won his final start of his career, which was the 355th start for the Mad Dog.
Legend.
And the On This Day segment is brought to you by Performer Print House. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, Performer Print House has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs. You need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company today by giving them a call at 574-210-3815.
Lamar Jackson has the second most wins through 40 career starts since the NFL merger. 3 guys have more, all tied with 32. Can you name those 3?
Oh, man. 32 out of their first 40?
Yep.
Now I'm not as confident.
3 really good quarterbacks, though.
I know. Now I'm not as confident in one of my guys, though. First 40 career starts.
They've won 32.
No. Man, this is hard.
It's a tough question.
Quarterbacks, there's so many good ones. So many good ones. Tom Brady?
Nope. I'll give you 2 more guesses. Get a par.
Ben Roethlisberger.
No.
He was one because he lost like one start in a year and a half.
Yeah. No.
Kurt Warner?
Yep, he's one of them. He was the one I didn't think you'd get.
Of course. Montana?
No.
Give him to me.
Mahomes.
God, I wasn't even thinking him.
Dan Marino was the other one.
I thought of Dan right away, but I'm like, I don't think the Dolphins were very good early on. Of course, they were good.
They went to the Super Bowl his second year.
Shut up. Shut up. I got the title. Shut up.
You are still 3 strokes behind.
That hurts. Hey, and congratulations to the U.S. Ryder Cup team for bringing the cup back, dominating Europe. Yeah, Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka got along. They're hugging it out. They're friends again. Look at that. Look what the Ryder Cup can do. So wrap us up, J-Man, for episode 254.
For watching the Tan and J-Man Show live on the ISC Sports Network. We will be back at it next month with another episode. Have a great week, everybody.